Hey guys, how you doing today? We're back with some more Swelligant. We're going to try and show you how I do dioxides over the new pewter. Some have commented on the creative group that they've had a little bit of an issue, a little bit of problem getting it to take on the pewter. It kind of wants to slide off. And I thought, what's that? Because I did one a couple of weeks ago on the indigo blue, and it took like that. It was nothing to it. But I found when I start to experiment that some colors take faster than others. So if you like to play with Swelligant, and who doesn't? I mean, I love to. I could spend days playing with Swelligant. Then you can really find some cool ways to make it grab, and it can even self-seal. And I've got the instructions from Christy Friesen herself. So we're going to go with that. So come on over here. I've got a lot to show you today. Glove up, because Swelligant dye will dye your hands. Okay, let's do it. Okay guys, so here we are getting ready to do a little bit of dioxiding. Which is basically we're going to be doing dioxide over raw pewter. Now when you do it over raw brass, you heat the brass. If the dioxide's heated a little bit, that helps. And boom, it goes on there and it's great, and there's not a lot of waiting around. With pewter, pewter is a little more resistant for some reason. I'm surprised. I didn't think that it would be. But I have found out that, like I mentioned, some of the dioxides take faster than others do. Maybe they have more saturated color, I don't know. But you can get them all to take if you want them to. You just have to play with it. It's maybe a few dunks and going back and forth, but you'll get it. And I wanted to show you a few examples of things I've already done today. This piece is absolutely gorgeous, and I wanted to tell you about how special that piece is too. This was a piece that was made for me, so this is not a piece that has been used in 1928 jewelry. It's mine. It's my own proprietary piece. It's made for me by 1928, but it's my own proprietary piece. And as you can see, it's going to be a lovely centerpiece, and it's made from a vintage French finding, so it's really wonderful. The same with this little bird pendant or charm. You can see here in the raw, and then I did some dioxiding on it. This also is unique to Bisou Boutiques. You will not find it in the catalog, in the archive at 1928. It's proprietary, meaning it was made just for me. So we're starting to get into some of that stuff now, where I had about 10 pieces come in. These are just a couple of them that are entirely mine, and they're just wonderful. I can't wait to share them with you. But I'm going to show you how I do this a little bit on the raw today. And also you can see the spoons. I did spoons the other week when I was showing you different surface treatments. You might remember these two. Are those in the frame, hubby? Mm-hmm. This was the indigo blue Swelligant, and it just took like now. It was very quick to go on here. And I was surprised when some were saying on the creative group that they were having trouble with it, because I'm like, I don't understand. But maybe it's just the indigo blue just is more saturated, and it just takes faster. But so anyway, I tried it today on this piece, which is the same. It's the same piece. Here it is in the raw. We got them back in. They're on the website, by the way. You guys asked for them, so I got them. So here's in raw. Here's the one I did the other week, and this one I did with coffee brown dioxide, which is this stuff. Okay, and the way I did it, as you can see here, I have a little cup warmer, the ones like you get at the dollar store or Hobby Lobby or whatever. Oh, I can't believe I said Hobby Lobby. Anyway, they cost about $5. I have 4 or 5 of them down here. I can't live without them because I use them for all kinds of different things. I like to get a glass dish, and yes, it does need to be a glass dish. And I put my dioxide in this glass dish, but I do it in 2 parts. And this is from La Friesen herself. This is what Christy says to do, the polymer clay princess and the developer of this wonderful line. She says a cool trick is to do one part of your dioxide, one part of the sealant. So however much you want to use. Get some of these little measuring cups. You know, you probably have some in your workshop. And just measure, like if you did like half a teaspoon of the dioxide, then you do half teaspoon of clear sealant. That's it. Mix them up together. And then you can use a popsicle stick to do that. And then, there it is. And then just let it warm on here. Or if you want to speed it up, you can take your handy dandy heat tool. There it is. Which we sell these on the site. We're very good stock of them right now. This thing is so hot. I don't think you get anything hotter except for fire off of a torch. It's so hot. I can even make brass turn darker with this thing. It's so hot. But what you can do, if you want to speed up the process a little bit, let me see if I can do this without making a mess. You've got to be careful. Come in from the side. I don't know, can you see that? Come in from the side a little bit and just heat it up. Get it going. And then it being on the cup warmer should do the rest for you. So, without further ado, how about let's try something? What do you say? I think it's time. So I'm going to take and, excuse me, lay aside the finished ones. Get them out of the way, and let's concentrate on the raw pieces. Isn't that just gorgeous? And it's got the 1928 signature swirly stuff on the back. They asked me, did I want that? And I said, yeah, I do. I definitely want that on there. But this is made for BC Boutique, so it's kind of a unique piece. It's got the 1928 identifier swirly. It shows that they made it, but this was made for me. So, really cool. Anywho. Let's do this little guy first. It might be the easiest. This should be warm enough now. So I'm just going to take them and I'm going to heat them up just a little bit on here. Don't do it on the plastic bag. You'll melt your plastic bag. Okay, this is that stick-free surface. I don't sell them, but they're easy enough to find. I have them all over the place on the other side of the workshop. Okay, now you don't want to pick that up with your hand because it's going to be really nice and hot. So I'll just kind of improvise a little bit. I've got copper tongs here, and I'm just going to throw them down in there in the warm solution. And I'm just going to kind of move them around. Not always so easily done, but you learn to compensate. I'm going to leave them down in there for a little bit. Just a little bit. You're going to probably have to dunk them a few times is what I found with the coffee brown. Probably the things like the sun yellow, milk white, stuff like that, chartreuse is probably going to be a few dunks. But with really saturated colors like the indigo and the violet and stuff, you're probably going to find it take faster. Okay, this had been warmed. And another thing you have to watch is too, how long you let this stuff sit on your cup warmer, because if you put the sealant in it, it'll start to form a skin. And this is what it is, it's the sealant setting up. And there's a little bit of that going on here, but I think I'm okay. So, oh, see, I should have my apron on. I can fix this. This is a work table. Don't do that. Whoops. It didn't go anywhere important. No,
the little blue.
There's none on your faces. Okay.
Oh,
yeah, we got a little skin on this. But this blue takes so quickly, it's crazy. The skin from the sealant can always be removed, so don't even worry about it. Now, a lot of times with the dioxides, I like to take them and put them on the towel. You know what? I might do that just to blot it because I got all of it. But don't dry it on the towel. Like, don't let it sit to dry on the towel, and don't use your heat gun on the towel, because what it'll do, I found out by sad experience, is that it will fry your paper to the back. And you can get it off. It's not the end of the world, but why go through it? That's what I say. Okay, so you can see it took quite nicely on the front. The back is a little bit lighter. So what are we going to do about this? Well, let me show you, because we're going to have to let him soak. I know already from experience he's going to take a little while. Okay, So I have a little sponge. You gotta have lots of sponges. Go to the dollar store and get the cheapo ones and just cut them up all different sizes like I have here, and just, you know, throw them in a basket and have them when you need them. I've been working on the same basket for last year or so, but I'm getting to the place where I gotta get some more. But now I'm gonna absorb a little bit of this excess. And I found that it has a better effect if you kind of stroke it rather than blot. It makes kind of funny little bubbly doodads on there that you don't really want. Or bits of sponge. So that's not half bad. It's not as intense. Let me move this. It's not as intense as that. So we're gonna have to do a couple of dunks. And the back, of course, it's taking, but it needs a little more.
How about if you really like that piece, just how it is?
Well, you mean like with just raw pewter and don't do nothing to it?
No, that you already did dump it
Well, yeah,
once.
then don't dunk it again. Good question, Javi. She wants to teach too, guys. She's going to teach wire at the May workshop. So she's starting to jump in there and get real assertive, which I like. You go, Javi. Well, that's a good one. If you don't want to do anything else to it, very good question, then leave the hay alone. But what I would do is I would take my heat gun. I think I'm showing on there. I am. Okay. And when you do that, you don't want to bear down on this like, you know, just go easy. And you're going to see it'll dry up real nice, but then you're going to have some spots where it didn't take as strong. I mean, that happened on here too, right? So if you like that, I see there we got a little bit there. So maybe what you could just do is take your sponge. And like I say again, this blue had already been heated for a long time. So that's why I'm working right on it. Other than that, I probably wouldn't do this. I like it when it's warm and the piece is warm. So I just go over with a little bit more from here. But I'm kind of stroking it because you get like these little greeblies from the sponge that I don't find attractive. So you could do this or you could dunk it again. You just play with it basically, guys. But you can see, oh yeah, it definitely works. And you can get as elaborate as you want. You could have several cup warmers in several colors going at the same time, and you could maybe put a little blush of blood red or something down here, some yellow up here. Of course, if you did that, then you'd get green with the blue. But I mean, you know, you could. It's all about getting all artsy with it. Christy would tell you the same thing, you know. Hey, baby, let's get artsy, she'd say. Something like that, wouldn't she? Mm-hmm. Well, that's how Christy talks. That's why we love her, because she's like us. But anyway, then I took some, you know, towel, and I'm just kind of brushing it back. And the little bit of roughness from the towel distresses it a little bit. So if you like it like this, don't keep going. You know, you're done when you like it. So Javi raised a really good question. And then you might want to turn it over and see that if it's taken everywhere that you want to on here. So I'm going to add a little bit more with it. And then, you know, we're good. Now remember I told you I put half clear sealant and half indigo blue in here. Why did I do that clear sealant? Because this way, if you don't want to, you don't have to seal it. Woohoo. Cool tip. Cool tip from Christy. That's what she does. So, you know, like say you're doing brass and you're putting it in color, you're putting in dioxide, put it half color, excuse me, and half clear coat, clear sealant. And then when it's done, it's done. You don't have to do anything else to it, unless you want to. You can. You know, for safety's sake, you could hit it with a light coat of Krylon matte or satin. You could still do that if you want. Or you could go over it with resin if you want to get it glossy, if that's what you like. But with it being half sealant, it's pretty much done. And what else is so nice about putting the sealant with it? It thickens it up a little bit, because dioxides are a little bit runny. And I found that if you use the dioxides without putting the sealant in them, they do really tend to flow right off the piece, and you're going to have to dunk it longer. So that's another reason why you want to have the clear sealant on hand and, you know, along with your dioxides. But anyway, to get it dark like that, you would just continually dunk it until it was the way you want it to be. And then you would dry it really good with your heat gun, or you can leave it set if you want. And then you go back and distress it or wipe it, however you want to do to get highs and lows. Or add another little bit of color over it. You can go over it with other things, like I'm going to show you what if. This guy, which I've got one soaking in there right now, this guy was, of course, the raw. I put him first in the coffee brown, like 3 times. Because coffee brown doesn't take as fast for some reason. But I know I got some nice coffee brown going on. And here's another proof. You know, you can get coffee brown on there. I did it. You know, it just took a little bit more fussing. But then when I got done with them, I says, hey, you know, I've got this blue here too. Let's play. Let's see what happens. So I took my sponge and I just dotted it around, smoothed it with the blue. And I thought, hey, you know what? I like that. That gives it more depth and more dimension. So you might want to go with 2 or even 3 colors and get your look. So I'm going to put these guys over here. And let's get him out of the bath. This little brown bath that he took. Yeah, see, that sealant is setting up in here. That's because I've been working with this for a while. But you know what? We can deal with it. It doesn't happen when it's like really, really fresh, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, I'm going to have to get my gloves in here. Okay. See this blob? You see this blob? It's good when things aren't perfect because I can show you, hey, this is what can happen, then you don't have to worry. Let's get rid of that. Kind of, yeah, it's right on there. We don't need that. Okay, so that's what it looks like with just the brown, having soaked for a little bit. Now, my experience is the back does not take as well, but maybe that's okay. It doesn't bother me for it to be a little bit lighter, so I'm going to blot it, and I can see a sealant on here too. So you just take it off. We just rub it. You can even rub it with your fingers a little bit. See, look at that. I put some more on with my finger. See? All you have to do then is let that dry, or dry it with the heat gun. And I can also remove a little bit with my finger this way. Okay. So let me get a little bit of this mess off of here so that you can see completely what's happening. I see a little bit of something on here. Oh my, when you know it. Toothpicks are over there.
Oh, right here.
Oh, you got, oh, yeah. See, here's what you can do. It's like if you get some down in the cracks that you don't like, you know, you want it off of there before you finish up, just take it off. Just tease it off. Tease it out of there. And then blot and kind of push. Because if you just dot it, you just get more residue from the sponges in. You know, you may find a better way to do it. You might like those foam brushes to do this, or you might just prefer to use your fingers, or you might prefer to just use paper towels. You know, however it works for you is fine. Okay, so now as you can see, this did not take as dark as this one, and it's the same thing, coffee brown. Why? It's because I have to dunk it several layers to get it like that. Just like the 2 blue things here. This one is after a couple coats, and then maybe a little bit of sponge on top and drying. This is with 1. This is with 1. This is with like 3. Okay? So then this one has even more because I added the blue. So what I'm going to do right now is I kind of like it that pale brown. It looks, you know, very antique-y and good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dry a little bit. Put some heat on it. Not too much because I want to go ahead and work with it then, and I don't want to burn myself. Now I'm going to tease it a little bit with a paper towel. I think I'll hold it with this so it's not too warm yet. Yeah, this is coming good. This I like this. I like this. I hope you guys can see. We have worked so hard on our camera angle so you could see better. Okay, now I have this sponge here with a little bit of blue. I think I'm going to go ahead and give it a little bit of blue and see what happens. Yeah, see, that really took now over that hot. Maybe like if you lay down an initial layer of color, then you'll find that it takes better. But of course, too, we did say the blue just tends to do that. The blue tends to take faster than the brown. What if we layer another brown over top of this and see? Will it be the same? Well, let me put a little bit on this here. Just a little bit. See what happens. See, it's a little more resistant, isn't it? It's taking, but yes, it's more resistant. That blue just grabs. I don't know why, but it just grabs. Okay, I'm going to turn this toward me so I can see what all has happened here with this piece and get it buffed out. But I still think this looks mighty fine. And if I wanted to go ahead and dunk that again and put a little bit more brown on there and not have as much blue, I could surely do that. But I think maybe I'm going to like it like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and dry a little bit more. Back's pretty dry. I mean, sometimes when you do the front, the back kind of comes along with it. But it's all to your taste. How light or how rich you want the color is just how much you want to play with it. That's all. And then if you want to add colors, it's how much you want to play with it. Okay, so there we've got that. And it's the same with this spoon. I'm just going to show you really quick what happens if you throw a raw spoon in here like this. You're going to have to mess with this. First of all, you can't get it dunked down in there the whole way. So that you got that handicap. But this is pretty warm. What I love is the way this bowl, the bowl of the spoon takes. It's amazing. Is that on camera, Javi? So you know you can, if you don't have enough dioxide, seal it down into your glass dish. And remember, it needs to be a glass dish. Don't worry, if you got sponges, you're good to go. You get it on there. Okay, now this is definitely going to take a number of dunks. For sure. I'm going to just blot it over here for a little bit. Yeah, see, look at when I blot it, the bowl of the spoon stayed really good, but the rest of it's going to take a little bit of work. But that's okay because I got proof right here. You can do it. And then I did the blue overcast on that too. So, I mean, and here's the back. So, I mean, you can do it. It's just like I say, some colors are going to take faster. That blue really grabs. My feeling is probably the blood red would too. Now, when you do something that's, you know, concave like this and it's got a lot of texture, you're going to have to run more heat on it. Okay. Now, what happened is it's getting a little bit like, have you ever left something in the patinas too long? Like, say, you threw a piece of chain or a little something, a charm or something down into one of these little cups full of, say, darkening patina or something, or Tiffany green. You forgot it was there and you came back a day later. Have you ever seen what happens? It turns into a total crust. So don't do that. Don't do that. But here's the deal. If you run that heat tool on here too long, it'll start kind of doing that too, but with dioxide. So let's see, what can I do? I don't want to do that. I'm going to do this. I don't want to touch it because it's hot. I'm just trying to see if I can apply more color this way. It's not, maybe get a little bit more. Yeah, this is good. So you can work right out of the bowl, or you can just keep dunking it, you know. This one's going to take some work, but I guarantee you I can achieve what I want to with that piece, because once again, here's the living proof, right? Here's the living proof. I even did magic gloss up in that one. So, I mean, it totally will work. So what it comes down to is how much you like dioxides and how much you like playing with them. And I think they have their own flavor, their own feeling. All the different mixed media products that we use have their own look to them. Some of them do not work on the raw pewter very well. The dioxides do. The patinas work very well over the rusted iron and over the gingerbread. They work like the bomb. I would not do them over silver. But here's a little tip to show you. Now, if you take the silver and you want to put a little color on the edge, you can use dioxide on a sponge. And that blue took right away. It took right away. so I can get a little accent. In fact, I'm wondering if I'm adept enough. Let me get a little bit more in there. So let's see what happens. I may just wreck this or have to paint the whole thing blue, but I just want you to see. Say I want to get a little bit on that flower in the middle. It really takes nicely. See, I just tapped it. Look, is that pretty or what? It takes really great over the plating. So if you want to do dioxides over the plating, you're going to have pretty quick success. And I'm going to show you another what if, for example, type thing. Okay. All right, here's your gingerbread. Now I darkened that up using coffee brown first and then blue. And it looks more like the old French pieces now. It's got more color and more patina on it. So let's see if I can do that with this one. And just show you different things. Yeah, this is really setting up. The clear coat is getting, it's forming a skin like kind of when you, did you ever make pudding from scratch? It gets that skin on it sometime. It's getting like that. Okay, I'm just going to do the whole thing. I could throw it down in there, but then I'd have too much on it, and I don't want too much on it. So see, I'm starting to get some nice darkening with the brown to get it look more antique. Now these, I had some come back from the plater. In fact, I've got a whole bag of them here. I didn't like how they came out. I did some brass in the gingerbread finish, and I told them to go ahead and do highs and lows, but it just was not, didn't look quite good to me. So I took the pieces that seemed pretty good and I put them in our Etsy store. There's still some there. And the rest I've just been giving away or playing with, which is fine. And so then I had some that came in the pewter, and I see we had some of the same problem. You probably saw that little green thing there. That was patina because it's copper over top of it. So I don't know, maybe the environment was damp or something. But I've got probably 24 of them here. That's too many to lose. So I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do with them? And I'm like, well, I think they're going back. I think he's going to have to run this batch again. This business is not for the timid, let me tell you. There are always supplier issues and plating issues and batches that don't work out, and you got to send them back, and sometimes they never work out. You end up losing them, or you sell them for cost to people that want to play with them, which is fine, but you know, they'll all be great, and then you'll have a batch that's no good. And I mean, you just have to hope for the best and work it out. But one thing's for sure, we will never, ever intentionally send you something that's goofed up. And if for some reason we did, we want to know right now, because we stand behind our stuff. And one of the reasons we carry products like this, now you see I put the blue on, so I remove a little bit, and it will actually be kind of like, almost like if you did black on it, but a little softer. See? So I know I'm getting my fingers in the way. But yeah, we go with higher end product at Bistro Boutiques, and we put the most reasonable price that we can on it because we want you to have the best. We don't want you to make jewelry with garbage. You know, I know a lot of people are really tempted when they go to the bargain bins and big boxes. Hey, I look. I'm not going to lie. But then a lot of times what they do is they load up their cart with this cheap stuff that they don't even know what they're going to do with it. And they get it home, and then all of their available money to buy anything is gone. And they can't buy the good stuff that they might be out of and need. So you're just like, be careful, don't be seduced. And if you get stuff from our place, it's not going to be bargain bin stuff. It'll be a good price. We have deals and discounts and sales all the time. But you're going to get the good stuff at our place, for sure. And let us know if for some reason you don't think it is. See what I did with those? Is that showing up good, hubby? See, those look pretty cool. If you threw those down into a box of mixed up French findings, the old ones, and it was all mixed up, I think you'd have a hard time picking those out. Don't you, hubby?
Mm-hmm.
They look like the old patina ones. Now, of course, the ones that come in, you know, they're lighter. But there are ones that look this color, too. That's why that color was designed that way. But if you want to darken it up, that's one great way to do it. The dioxides work really well to add antique. Acrylic paint is good too, but I find the dioxides, being a little bit lighter weight and not as thick, work much better to add additional antique or color to the plated pieces. So you might want to try that. Okay guys, well I'm going to keep working on my spoon because he needs a lot of work yet. But you can see how great this works on a variety of things. And like I say, it just goes to playing with it. It really makes for a very relaxing afternoon, and you'll find at the end of it you'll have success with everything. You will not lose one piece to it being all goofed up. Because there'll always be a way you can fix it with additional colors, sanding it back, whatever. You know, you're not going to lose anything with this. You're just going to find new and better ways to mix color and make dioxides work for you over a raw pewter product. And I will mention to you again, our pewter product is different than a lot of pewter products that you find out there. Our pewter product actually has a little silver in it. And the reason for that is it makes the pewter flow better for when the company wants to make filigree and very fine details like the detail that you see in this spoon. You're not going to find imported cast pieces that look like this. And plus they're not even pewter, they're zinc. And zinc isn't bad. It's not, you know, bad for you to wear or anything, but it's hard and it's brittle and it'll break easy. You can't manipulate it and bend it like you can pewter. Pewter has some give, like I can take and bend this slightly. If this was zinc, it'd snap. See, I bent that. So it's a little bit flexible like your brass. So you can take your same brass techniques that I've showed you to manipulate brass and apply them to the pewter very gently. But it's got to be real pewter for it to work. If it's not, it's going to bust in half now because it's zinc. You know, the cheaper castings are zinc. And they don't have the detail that these do because zinc can't pick up detail like pewter that has some silver in it. It's a proprietary blend that belongs to 1928. Nobody else has it, and that's why nobody can cast filigree like they can. So that's why I was so thrilled to go with this line, because we could get such incredible detail for you to work with. So I don't want to give you anything but the best. Okay, enough of that sermon. I see my dioxide is perfectly drying up on me. Time to shut the cup warmer off and time to shut the mouth up. And wish you a great week. Come over to bisouboutiques.com where we have the good stuff, and where you will find these things is if you click on the new stuff button, or I think this is new stuff. And another thing you could do is just go to the Bisou by 1928 section and go to the raw pewter section. You'll find a lot of really cool things that you can use to do this. Or just take maybe some of the pieces you might already have in the plated finishes and add a little color to them and just have a really good time. So I'll see you next time. I've got something planned already, so we just got to do it. Have a good week and get moving on your new crafts and your new ideas and your new art, and be happy. Bye, guys.